Alright, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTube. It's your Slime King, the G-Man, and welcome to another video. Today, I'd like to talk about Aventurine and why he may be the worst pole in the entirety of Sigonia. Now, let me preface everything and discredit myself of all kinds of authority by telling you guys that I don't know anything about Aventurine at all. Like, the last time I read anything about his kit was like, I don't know, 4 weeks ago when the first leaks came out. And since then I haven't read anything about him. Now, let me tell you why. It's because he's a sustain. And this game has a certain sustain conundrum, if you will. Now let me explain. Now, there will be two camps regarding this case, and one in the middle that's kind of weird. Right, these three connected camps and one crazy camp that's kind of like, I don't care what you say, Slime King. I'm gonna pull for my husbando. I want Aventurine to peg me like the dirty slut that I am. And that's great. That's great. You know, if you want to cosplay as a dirty slut, slutting in Aventurine's PP into you, I'm not gonna say no to that because that's great. I advocate that. I advocate simping to the next level as much as anybody else. And for the rest of the world, Aventurine is a pretty bad pull. Maybe for 95% of people. And let me explain, okay? We'll get to it. First off, the first type of people in this one camp that should never pull for Aventurine are the people that already have at least one 5-star sustain. Whether that be Fushan, Locha, or Ho-Ho. Now, if you have all three of them, even more so, you should never pull for Aventurine. That is... I don't even know why you're considering, unless you are in that deranged interplanetary camp of like, I need to be pegged by him. Okay, fine. But if you belong in the camp of the real world, then you should never pull from like this, right? And then the second camp is the one that doesn't have any 5 stars sustains, such as Locha, Ho-Ho, or Fushan, and is in dire need of something to survive with. Now, in that case, you should definitely pull for Aventurine if you want to survive. But the thing is, that's precisely the only thing that Aventurine will do. It's gonna make you survive. Will it make things better? Will it make things easier to clear? Absolutely the fuck not. You will just live. And if your problem was actually just living in the first place, literally any 5-star sustain will help you in that situation. And Aventurine's shields, while good, well, Jeopard exists, and Jeopard's shields are actually decent enough for their use cases. And shields use cases right now, honestly, like, they haven't introduced a mechanic so egregious that you need shields to counter. Like, for example, the Monkey Boy in floor 11 of MOC this cycle, where it throws soda cans at you, and if you don't have a shield, you're gonna get stunned. That one is not egregious enough that it makes me want to build Jeopard. You wanna know why? Or bring Aventurine. You wanna know why? It's because the monkey dies, regardless of whether or not I bring the right units or not. It dies, yeah, I get stunned, but it still dies. It literally doesn't matter. Do I run a sustain? Yeah, I run a sustain. I bring Fushan. I bring Ho-Ho. They have cleanses, right? You belong in the first camp of not needing Aventurine because you already have 5-star sustains. Now, if you don't have that and you only have Lynx or Natasha or March 7th, then perhaps. Because there are some places where Natasha's healing limits can be felt. Lynx, on the other hand, depends. Has insane synergy with units like Blade and Clara. So even if you have 5-star sustains, Lynx is still a pretty good option because of its increased aggro, depending on who you heal. Now, if you have March 7th, well, if you're an auto Andy, March 7th will never allow you to auto because her SP usage on auto is actually insane. This was like Pella pre-auto nerf corrections. So now we're in this conundrum, right? There's this one camp that absolutely doesn't need him, and then there's this one camp that absolutely needs him. Now, the camp that has all the 5-star sustains is considerably less than the camp that doesn't have 5-star sustains. But there's also a group in the middle. And the group in the middle are the players that have Ting Yun and Dance. Okay, I'm assuming that the people that don't have 5-star sustains are players that have just not been playing that long. And if you have Ting Yun and Dance, that just means that you can get away with having just one 5-star sustain or no 5-star sustains at all, depending on the teams you use. Because by using Ting Yun and Dance, you can effectively run attack boots on your hyper carry of choice, and you can clear a wave, or you can clear an MOC side 1 to 3 cycles faster because you're not running a sustain. And you're running supports instead, like Bronya or Pella or Ruan Mei or whatever, right? It doesn't really matter what supports you run in adjunct to Ting Yun. Like, the most important thing is you can run Ting Yun, you can run Dance, your action forward, your carry, and you can clear faster. Now, of course, this special subset of people requires critical thinking and patience, because you need to know and understand game mechanics for this to actually work, right? So basically what I'm trying to say is you're trading in money and pulls on the table for a more brain-dead way to play with Aventurine and another sustain for critical thinking, actually playing the game, and using Ting Yun, and using trial and error to clear an MOC faster without having the need to spend. And thus, this is where the sustain conundrum rears its ugly head. Because no account is the same, no mindset is the same, and because of that dissonance, people will always argue. Sustains are needed. I can't survive without sustains. Other side, you don't need sustains. All you need to do is get good. And both sides have an argument to be made. However, I think what tips the scales to Aventurine being a worse pull, not just as a sustain, but as a character in general, is because he's not even the best sustain. It feels like you're pulling him purely because you need a sustain. That is pretty much what sustains are and have always been in Genshin. Not in Genshin Impact. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's not Genshin. We're not talking about Genshin Impact. I quit Genshin, by the way. I quit Genshin Impact like 3 weeks ago. I haven't logged in at all. Anyway, that's besides the point. In Honkai Star Rail, okay, the sustain problem is you wanted Lotcha because you had no better sustain than that. You wanted Ho-Ho because you had no better sustain for that, especially for dot teams, I guess. You wanted Fushan because there's no sustain. But here's the problem. You compare these 3 sustains to Aventurine, and you'll realize that there's one sustain above every single one else. There's only one sustain that can help you never die, regardless, aside from Simulated Universe. And that is Fushan. The only time you die in MOC, Pure Fiction, or whatever you use sustains for, is when your carry or whatever character gets hit 3 times in succession without you being able to react. Now, Lotcha could kind of mitigate that, but like it still bears true because of RNG being a bitch. Is that if you get hit multiple times, the same character, you will die because you have no opportunities to heal. Right? That is the problem with Aventurine. That is the problem with Lotcha. That's the problem with Ho-Ho. But Fushan doesn't have that problem. Fushan's weakness is AoE. Right? Fushan resists debuffs. Does almost everything you want him to do. The only thing is, if there's overwhelming AoE, which has happened in Simulated Universe, in Golden Gears, in Swarm Disaster, and that's the only place it has happened. In everything else, Fushan literally makes you immortal and literally makes things brain dead. If your goal is to make things brain dead, Fushan is the right play here, regardless. If you just want to auto everything, Fushan literally makes you auto everything. Aventurine might be able for you to do that, but there might be some teams where shields are just get hard countered, right? I mean, honestly, there's a lot of things that hard counter shields, specifically like damage over time, debuffs. If those things stack, I mean, you're running a sustain, so I'm assuming you're running slow units. So, you know, that one guy in MOC today that stacks wind debuffs on you, wind shear debuffs. Yeah, enjoy your 4 stacks of that. Your shield is not gonna last that long against that debuff, right? But Fushan eats that up. Okay, eats that up. Well, not really eats that up, but like you'll survive, right? Ho eats that up. Luocha eats that up, right? So when we're talking about these things, there's inherent flaws in pulling for Aventurine. Like the downsides of pulling for Aventurine is drastically more than the pros of pulling for Aventurine. Now wait, you might say, wait a minute, you know nothing about Aventurine. I mean, I know he has a follow-up attack. I know people have been showcasing the premium follow-up attack mother freaking team with Topaz, Ratio, Robin, I guess, and Aventurine. That's great, you know, a premium follow-up attack team. Autoing. That is an auto premium follow-up attack team. What does Aventurine actually do in that team, though? Does he provide more damage? No. His follow-up attack just gets buffed by every single one of that team, which is great. It's more damage, but honestly, if you're going into it to clear as fast as possible, you're not going to use Aventurine there. You'd much rather use someone like Tingyun or Ruan Mei, right? Yeah, no sustain, but like, that's the thing. You'll kill everything faster than you would with Aventurine. Now, the only reason why you would pull for Aventurine in a team like that is to go IPC motherfrickers, because Topaz is there. And then probably Jade as well, because she's looking like a follow-up attack buffer. Okay, that's great, but you don't belong in the camp on Earth. You belong in the camp of extraterrestrials, because you don't care about all this shit. You know, gravity does not exist to you, because all you want is to get pegged by the IPC bitches, aka Topaz, Jade, and Aventurine. You see what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. Like, no matter what you actually say or do, Aventurine just does not hold value at all. Because it is much better for you to save your pulls for Fushan, who has proven to be better, that has more longevity already, a proven track record. Fushan was released what, in 1 point something? I forgot, but like it's been months, probably like 8 months or 6 months or whatever, right? And she's literally the best sustain against Aventurine. Literally just eliminates the CC mechanics from his dice. That's how good Fushan is. Aventurine is a shielder, right? That can easily be replaced by literally any other 5-star sustain. That's the problem with Aventurine, right? Ignoring the fact that you simp for him Omega hard. The conundrum we have is all sustains are the same until they release another sustain that's on the tier of Fushan. Everybody's gonna hype up Aventurine, okay? Everybody's gonna do that. Because they want to sell their guides. They want to say, oh, I made this team because everybody's looking for videos on how Aventurine works. But let me tell you something, okay? As a finality to all of this, because I've been rambling, and you know I'm rambling when I stutter in my words, and I don't know what word comes next after the word I'm saying. That's when I know that I've kind of overstayed my welcome. But as a finality of everything, of this video, you're wasting your pulls on Aventurine if you're thinking she's going to be the best sustain in the world. You're wasting your pulls on Aventurine if you're thinking I need another 5-star sustain when you already have a Fushan, a Luocha, or a Ho-Ho, or all of it. You're wasting your pulls on Aventurine thinking this is the premium follow-up attack team. Because at the end of the day, there's only one reason for you to pull for Fushan. There's only one reason for you to pull for Aventurine. And it's that you love him to bits. And you want the shield for Simulated Universe Elation Blessing Cheese with a preservation unit. That's it. That's it. And all else, just pull for Fushan. Just pull for Fushan. Yeah, this video kind of turned out to be pretty shitty. I'm not gonna lie. I thought I had a good I had a good thing going in my head about Aventurine, about these three camps, about this analogy, about, you know, we're in like a makeshift camp, a band camp or something, and all the Aventurine lovers are like clarinet lovers who like their clarinet stuck up their ass or something like that. And then they're living on the moon for some reason, and then we're just FaceTiming them. We're talking about, debating about Aventurine and stuff. That's how I feel when I read comments about this video. I'm gonna look at the comment section and I'm like, these motherfrickers are FaceTiming me from the moon right now with clarinets stuck up their ass. That's great. It's a great visualization to end the video. I don't know how many of y'all are gonna reach that point in the video, but if you have reached the end of the video, comment down below so I know. Comment down below, a clarinet is stuck up my bum. Aventurine supremacy. that's too long. A clarinet is up my bum. Comment that in the YouTube comments below right the frick now if you made it to the end of this video, just so I know you made it here and you made it through that analogy and you wasted your time listening to the last 2 minutes of this video purely because you think something else is coming. No, nothing else is coming. That's all my thoughts about Aventurine and apparently clarinets. Anyway, yeah, as always, I appreciate each and every one of you tuning into the video. The clarinet is up my bum, and this is our parting. Farewell.